Okay, so obviously the first section here is about utilising research and information to enable us to justify cases for whatever projects we get involved in. And the effective starting point for that, obviously, is always about problem definition or recognition. Problem being a generic term, effectively it's getting to the source and the point and nailing effectively what needs to be established, found out, collected, gathered, whatever that might be. The source of that information and that data obviously comes from various different sources, internal, external to the organisation. And we need the student to appreciate and understand that although they are diverse and need to be managed and manipulated in a different way, there has to be a full appreciation of the identification of those sources. Okay, so what's important, therefore, having identified the problem and now being in a position to manipulate the sources of information that will help you solve that problem, methodologies become very important. Students will be aware at this stage of a number of secondary sources and of primary sources, but this unit we want you to concentrate primarily within the primary undertaking. That'll become apparent a little bit later in the assessment podcast, but certainly we'll be looking for students to have some practical experience of primary undertaking, whether that's in-depth interview or focus group or whatever method that best fits the project they're involved in. Okay, then going forward, we need students who are familiar, obviously, with the research process to delve deeper into this whole aspect of the research brief stroke research proposal mechanic. And there has to be an obvious analysis and criticism of, in the first instance, a brief itself, either from a practical experience or a scenario experience. But here we want the student to concentrate on data collection. And as alluded to before, a lot of the emphasis we would like placed within this section of this unit is on primary research. It doesn't negate the necessity for secondary methods, but if we can concentrate on introducing the student to a more primary focused information gathering approach, then it will benefit the student in the long run and particularly in assessment. Now, in relation to that data collection, effectively the student needs to be able to establish control mechanisms. Now, via budgeting and evaluation and measurement, we can fully criticise any brief relative to the investment involved and the return on the other hand. Now, when it comes to the proposal therefore is in itself a control mechanism, because there must be some sort of operational fit with the proposal, the research brief, and the wider problem and project going forward. So we should think about getting the students to think about criteria scoring. That way we start to select, manage and enable better proposals, and that mechanic effectively manifests itself in practice. And obviously then the further core aspects of any proposal is what's it going to deliver, when it's going to deliver it, how it's going to deliver it, and effectively if there is no delivery or there's a lack of delivery, how do we feedback? How do we look back in to try and rectify, correct, or abandon, as the case might be? The final part then of section is all about how you present the data or the information that you've gathered in a format that effectively will allow you going forward, and you'll see that the sequence within the unit itself allow you to start backing up and justifying some recommendations that you're going to make at a later date. So therefore then the student needs to be fully aware of professional presentation formats and reporting formats. And in particular, we would like a lot of concentration on how findings are illustrated as opposed to written up. So, if you like, as an examining team, we like to look at documents as opposed to continually read them. So, any document that's written up and punctuated with illustrative diagrams is a much more professional document and gets to the heart of the findings very, very quickly. Also, obviously, there's a modular approach within research where there's a number of analysis tools available to you, existing and traditional. We'd also like you to introduce the student to the notion of trying to create or come up with some of their own innovative forms or illustrations or models to demonstrate their own findings so they can take ownership of any data or information that they feel is applicable to this case going forward. And the final thing, always to remember that the research itself, the conclusionary aspect of what has been established, should house some form of future recommendation.